Hello, everyone, and good evening. I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope you guys are having a great evening. Um, my name is Lupe. I am here, a part of the Cook County Assessor's Office, and today we are going to be talking about understanding your reassessment, specifically for Elk Grove Township. In the meantime, please make sure that you are sharing with your friends, your family, your neighbors, anyone you might think could use this information so that they are aware of what it means to receive that reassessment notice and the things that our office does, as well as guide them through the process of an appeal. Should you decide to file an appeal after this, we will give you those step-by-step guide so that you can follow along as you are filing your appeal. So, without further ado, let's continue on. And before I forget, please make sure that you leave any comments that you have, any questions that you have in the comments, and I will make sure that I address them at the end of the presentation. So, first things first, we want you to meet the assessor. So, this is Cook County Assessor Fritz Kagi. And let's talk a little bit about the responsibilities of the assessor's office. So we set fair and accurate values for 1.9 million properties or parcels in Cook County. That is a lot of property, and that is residential, commercial, warehouses, industrial properties, vacant lots. All of those are properties in which we administer the values for. These values are determined not on an individual basis, but rather using a mass appraisal system that looks at the general market data over the area for the last 3 years. The other things that we do is that we administer property tax saving exemptions that can contribute to lowering your property tax bill. And I will touch upon those a little bit towards the end of the presentation. Now, some of the things that we don't do is that we do not set your tax rates, we do not set your levies, we do not mail out tax bills, and we also do not decide the balance on your tax bill. These are things that we do not do. A lot of these are set by the city or the municipality in which you are located in, and they're determined by the budget of your city. So the way that the Cook County Triennial System reassessment cycle works is that we reassess 1/3 of the county's properties every year. A property's reassessment year depends on the township in which the property is located. So for example, last year, everyone in the city of Chicago got a reassessment notice, and they'll get one again in 2 years in 2027. This year, we are focusing our efforts on the north suburbs of Chicago. The last time the north suburbs was reassessed was in 2022. And again, now you guys are being reassessed 3 years later in 2025. So during a property's reassessment year, you can file an appeal within 30 business days after the reassessment notice is mailed. Please mark your calendars. Please make sure that you're putting this in your phone, setting a reminder that the deadline to file an appeal is June 18 of 2025. So again, that is June 18, 2025. I personally like to recommend that you guys put it in like 3 days earlier than what that deadline is, should you come across any issues for some reason, or just have general questions that you might want to get answered in between when you're filing your appeal, then you have more opportunity to do so in between that deadline. So now let's talk a little bit about the Elk Grove valuation reports. So our office is transparent and release all the data of how we get to the number that you see on your reassessment notice. So this is what is called the valuation report. So what does this show? This shows the sales trends from 2021 to 2024, and it is the median estimated market values of all homes throughout Elk Grove. So, for example, single family homes are averaging out about $403,000. Condos are averaging about $185,000, and multifamily is averaging about $730,000. So these are the changes that we have seen over the last couple of years in the market, and that is how we get an estimate as to what those numbers are. Now, if you really want to get into the details of what those sales are, that is when you would visit this side of our data. So we want you to access the residential valuation report for Elk Grove based off of your neighborhood code. So the way that you can identify your neighborhood code is either by logging onto our website and looking up your PIN, or you can also do it by finding it on your reassessment notice. And I'll make sure to pinpoint that out when we're going over that reassessment notice. Then you want to click on your neighborhood code and compare the recent sales to the assessor's estimated property values. So this data here will show you what was the highest sale and what was the lowest sale and what the average size of a home is going for. Things to keep in mind with this is that this is all types of homes. So this could be construction of frame and masonry, of it could be of stucco, it could be different materials. So it is a generalized way of seeing it. But you can also download that information as well to see what those individual sales were throughout the last 3 years. Now let's go over your residential assessment notice. So everyone should have received this residential notice in the mail for Elk Grove Township. If you have not received it yet, please let us know. Connect with us via email. You can send us an email on social media, whatever you prefer. You can let us know that you haven't received it, and we can make sure to get a copy for you. But if you just want to know what that value is, that value is already posted on our website. But once you get this reassessment notice, there are a few things that we want you to pay attention. The first one being the PIN. Make sure that that is accurately reflected on there. And then after that, you're going to see the estimated fair market value that the assessor's office has put. The third thing that you're going to notice is the neighborhood code and the property characteristics. All of that can be found in that box that's labeled number 2. So make sure that all of that is being reflected accurately. The age, the construction, the square footage, all of that is on there, right? And then the next thing that you're going to see is the assessed value history over the last 3 years. So make sure that you're kind of paying attention to that. And again, keep in mind that the new value that you see is an accumulation of what the data has been showing us over those 3 years. Then the last thing that you'll see at the bottom of this first page is the deadline, which again, as a reminder for Elk Grove Township, is June 18th. On the back side, there's some other really important information, which is your exemption history. So exemptions are one of the best ways to be able to lower your property tax bill. And about 1/3 of Cook County residents actually do not have their homeowner's exemption on there. So please make sure that you are checking that. And please know that you can file for previously missing exemptions. So if you turn that sheet around and realize that you had been missing it over the last 2 years, then you can still get that money back. But for more information, you can visit our website and read up on all the exemptions. We have 9 in total. And then at the very bottom, you will also see our contact information and ways to reach us to ask any questions. Now let's go over common reasons a homeowner might file an appeal. Now there are a variety of reasons why someone might want to file an appeal, but the 3 most common are the lack of uniformity, overvaluation, and incorrect property description. So what is lack of uniformity? Lack of uniformity is when there is a home that I own, for example, in Elk Grove, and I'm being valued at $300,000. But my neighbor who has the exact same home, has the same square footage, is the same type of construction, same age, everything about it is exactly the same, almost like a copy paste, but their home is being valued at $250,000. In that scenario, I have a case for an appeal for lack of uniformity because the homes are supposed to be similar, yet one is being valued more or less than the other. So that is lack of uniformity. The second reason is overvaluation. So that is one of the most popular reasons to file an appeal and the most common one, because that means that when you looked at that value that we set, you looked at it and you said, nope, there is no way I can actually sell my property for that amount. If I could, I would give you the keys right now. So that is overvaluation. When you feel that the value that we have put on your home is way higher than what you think you can sell your home in the market. And then the third reason is incorrect property description. So that is when there is something factually incorrect about your home. So whether that is the construction type, the construction type, the square footage, the age of the home, things like that are things that can be corrected during an appeal. So now let's review the appeal process again. So you're going to receive a reassessment notice. If you disagree with the estimated fair market value, you can file an appeal, but you must supply a reason. Our analysts review the evidence to determine whether to change your property's assessed value and by how much. And then our analysts make a decision about your appeal, which will be either a decrease or a no change to the original assessed valuation. Currently, under our office, the policy stands that if you file an appeal, your value won't increase. It will either stay the same or decrease. A good rule of thumb is that if the property characteristics on the notice are correct and the estimated market value is within 10% of what you think your home is worth, then it is unlikely that an appeal would change your property's assessed value enough to affect your property tax bill. So filing an appeal online is really easy on our website. You can visit our website at cookcountyassessor.com/online appeals. And the online system will guide your filing. You can start a draft, save it, revise it, and submit it all from the comfort of your home. You can provide us with supporting documentation. Now, that supporting documentation is really, really, really important depending on the appeal that you're filing. So things like pictures, appraisals, demolition documents, anything like that that you want to supply us with, please make sure that you are doing that, as that is the best way to prove your case to us when you're filing that appeal. And again, as always, filing with our office is free. We never charge for you to be able to file an appeal with our office. Now, there are a lot of people that hire lawyers, or they get those mailers in their inboxes asking you to fill out their form so that they can help you lower that. But all they're doing is filing an appeal on your behalf. And again, as a reminder, Elk Grove Township is open until June 18, 2025 to file an appeal application. So now let's go through the steps of filing that appeal. Now that we've gone over the reasons to file an appeal, and you decided that one of those does pertain to you, this is how you would file that appeal. So the very first step is going onto our website at cookcountyassessor.com and clicking the Appeals tab, and then clicking on File Online. And this is what that website will look like. And if you scroll to the bottom, you'll see the options for a residential, a condo co-op, and commercial. Right now, we're focusing on a residential appeal or a condo co-op, if that is applicable to you. And depending on whether you have filed an appeal with our office before, or maybe you filed for exemptions with our office recently, it could be that you already have an account under your name or under your email address with us already. If you don't, you can log in or create an account using your email address. So once you've created your account or logged in, you're going to click on Begin Filing. And you're going to search for your property with your PIN or address. So I would only put one or the other. Do not put both, as that can cause the application to freak out a little bit. So make sure that you're putting either the PIN or the address so that it was able to find you in the system quicker. It is possible that someone else's, like the previous owner's name, still appears on here, especially if you recently bought. So just go ahead and click Start Filing, as there is an option later on in the application to correct that and update the record. Then you're going to click on these two check boxes that you're just stating that you are the one that is filing this appeal and that you are agreeing to the terms and conditions. Here is, you're just verifying the information. You don't have to do anything here. Just click Next. And then here is where you can file a certificate of error for previous years for incorrect property description error. So this is only if there was something factually wrong about your home. So for instance, if your square footage was incorrect in those previous years, this is where it's an opportunity to be able to fix that for the prior years. Again, this is only for something that is factually wrong about your property. Accidentally missing the deadline is not a reason to be able to file a certificate of error under an appeal. And then here is where you can add any additional pins. Some properties have a lot of land, or they have a weird double lot where the home falls under 2 pins. This is where you can add that secondary or third pin onto your application. This is not where you add your comparable properties. And then here is where you tell us who you are. So you are the taxpayer owner. So you are the one that's filling out this appeal. And you click again, taxpayer owner, or if you're the beneficiary of a trust, or if you're a tenant, if you're a trustee, whatever that may be, this is where you would select it. And then you would click on the hamburger icon, so the 3 little lines that you see in that first red arrow. And you want to make sure that you click that and find your name on there. If for some reason you do not see your name, you can check that box where the second arrow is and be able to update that contact information as well. And then you type in your phone and your email address. Here is where you would check the characteristics of your home. So this is the opportunity for you to correct anything that may be incorrect. So like the age of your home, how the home is being used, if it's a 1-story, 2-story, if it's masonry, if it's brick, how many bathrooms it has, how many fireplaces, if you have central air, if you have solar air, all of that is where you would be able to correct it here. And then here, this is where we would put the desired market value. So this is an opportunity for you to tell us where you think how much you think your property is worth. And I do see that there are some questions in the comments. I will get to them as soon as I'm done with the presentation. I promise you I'm not ignoring you, but I will get to them as soon as I'm done here. And then here, you must provide us a reason for the appeal. So we went over the 3, which is lack of uniformity, overvaluation, or incorrect property description error. There are other reasons to file appeals, like the building is uninhabitable, vacancy, fire damage, or if the building no longer exists, then that is where you would be able to file that appeal. And then you would be able to tell us how the property is being used as well. So whether it's a single family, 6 apartments or less, if it's mixed use, etc. Now here is an opportunity for you to be able to find comparable properties. Our system already helps you find those comparable properties. It is integrated into that. So this is an opportunity for you to be able to do that. You would just have to click the Find Comparables button, and it will list some comparable properties out to you. So once you have selected all of your comparable properties, you want to make sure that you're considering the following things. So that they are the closest properties to you, that they're made of the same construction, have similar square footage, and are in the same neighborhood code. So that neighborhood code term has come up a couple of times now. So again, the neighborhood code can be found on our website when you search up your PIN, or on your reassessment notice. So that is how you would be able to see if it is a good comparable property or not. And then this second to last tab, this is the opportunity for you to give us those documentations that you would like us to see. So attachment section where you can include pictures, where you can include appraisals. In some cases, there are homes where the property is just really, really unique and there are no comparable properties. That can happen. But that is where an appeal narrative is super, super useful. So the appeal narrative gives you an opportunity to tell us why your home is unique and why your home is not worth what that is. One of the downsides of doing things on a mass appraisal system is that it only lets us do things based off what is selling in your area or in your neighborhood. In some areas, people are buying houses, demolishing them, and putting them brand new with everything new. And the homes that are staying there that haven't gotten any updates for it are seeing those same values, which is not a fair comparison. A new home should not be compared to one that has, or a home that has had a major rehab is not the same as one that needs major rehab on the inside. So that is where the appeal narrative comes in handy, because you would be able to tell us that the home hasn't had any renovations in a while, or maybe it's subject to flooding, or things like that, are things that can affect the value of your home. And that is where the appeal narrative comes in handy. After that, all you have to do is sign your name, type in your phone number, and click submit. And then it will ask you, are you sure you want to submit this filing? And you'll either say yes or no. So please make sure that you have already attached everything onto your appeal, because once you submit, it's very hard to attach anything else back. It's basically a one and done. So please make sure that you are attaching all your documentation and just double checking it before you click submit. And then once you click submit and you're ready, then you will be getting this confirmation page. So this will give you a filing ID for your appeal. So if you have any questions of where it is in the process, you can always contact us and give us this filing ID number so that we are able to find it quicker. If you win your appeal, your new value will be reflected on your second installment bill of 2026. Not the one that you're going to get later on in the year. This year, again, you will be getting it on your second installment bill for 2026. The results of your appeal are mailed to you. So the results aren't done online. So again, you will be receiving a paper letter in the mail stating whether you won your appeal or if the value is going to stay the same. But there is a lot of information on our website. You can check your exemption history, appeal history, read about reassessments. Again, all the data that we have available on our website is open to the public so that you can see exactly what those sales were and how they are affecting the values in your neighborhood. But as I mentioned, we offer a total of 9 exemptions in our office. So we have the homeowner exemption, the senior exemption, and the senior freeze, which are the most common exemptions that people apply for. But we do also have other exemptions for veterans, like veterans with disability, returning veterans, and we just got a World War II veteran exemption as well that some people may still be eligible for. All of these exemptions and their eligibility are found on our website. But again, the one that everyone should have, as long as they own and occupy their home of January 1st of that tax year, they should be receiving the homeowner exemption, which in some areas can be anywhere from $900 to $1,000 in a discount on a tax bill. And as a reminder, exemptions only appear on your second installment property tax bill. So when you do receive that tax bill, please make sure that you are checking on the lower left-hand corner to make sure that your exemption has a value amount there. Now, if you're wondering where your money goes, the Cook County Treasurer's Office now gives you a breakdown on where your money goes and notates the changes in your taxing district. So this gives you a breakdown exactly of where the money is going. In this example that you can see, it is for the city of Chicago, and the majority of property tax in the city goes to the Board of Education, as it does for most most municipalities. It's to fund our schools. But we are here to help. You can contact us. You can give us a call at 312-443-7550. You can connect with us on social media. We're on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, on X. All of those are places where you can reach us. We have 4 locations in Cook County where you can receive assistance, which is at our downtown Chicago office at 118 North Clark, at the Markham Courthouse at 16501 South Kedzie, in Skokie at 5600 West Old Orchard, and in Bridgeview at 10220 South 76th Avenue. So those are all offices that you can go. We do highly encourage you to make an appointment so that you can be seen quicker. But that is some places that you can get assistance. We are also doing a lot of events throughout the county and within the township. So if you ever want to not meet us downtown, or maybe not one of those branches is close enough for you, please pay attention to our outreach events, and you can see where there is an outreach event closer to you to receive in-person assistance. We also do recommend that you sign up to receive email updates from our office. So assuming you're not watching this on your phone, you can scan that QR code, or you can go on our website to sign up for the newsletter so that you can be aware of the changes that are happening within our office. But now I am going to answer those questions that I see over here. So give me just a second. Okay, so I see WCCG. So you had a previous statement beforehand that said that there was a big value that change that happened in 2022 when assessed value went from 177 to 310 with no changes to the property, and that in retrospect we should have appealed in 2022, but we did not. And then you added, would appealing this year make it possible to reopen the insane increase in valuation from 2022? So that it really would depend on the reason filing an appeal. So as I mentioned, you can technically file for 2022, but it has to be that there is something factually wrong within your property. Um, so maybe the square footage is incorrect, or maybe the construction type is incorrect. That is really the only way that you would be able to appeal for those prior years to get that corrected. But if you still feel that that value is too high for this year, then again, you will need to just make sure that you're submitting that appeal prior to June 18th. And it sounds like in your case, it would be for overvaluation. So, and finding either those comparable properties of homes similar to yours. Some people go on Zillow or Redfin to just kind of gauge how much homes are being sold for. But since you mentioned that there has been no changes to the property, or like no updates on the inside of the property, writing that appeal narrative would be very helpful as well. Some people include pictures of the inside of their property so that they can show that it hasn't had any major updates. Assuming that still stands, that you haven't had any major updates, I wouldn't classify it like a paint job a major update or anything like that. But if you still have a kitchen from like the 90s, then that's worth including in your appeal. And I think there was another one by the gentleman that says the bathroom was gutted for the last few years. In that, is that basis? If you're saying that you like removed a bathroom, you can definitely adjust that in the characteristics so that you no longer have a working restroom in, or like you lost a restroom in there, and that may affect it. But we mainly look at habitable square footage, but you can update those characteristics on there. Trying to see if there's any other questions. I don't see any more, but I'll give it a minute. Feel free to drop them in the comments. Okay, well, it doesn't seem like there are any other questions. Should you be watching this later, because this will be available to view again on our YouTube and our Facebook, please make sure that you're dropping any questions on there. Someone from our team will be responding to those as well. Or again, you can always feel free to email us or send us a message, connect with us on social media to get those questions answered as well. And as always, we are also available to help in person. We just highly encourage appointments so that you are serviced quicker. Thank you so much for spending your evening with us here today. Again, if you have any other questions, just drop them in the chat and someone will answer them for you. Thank you so much.